Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome. Welcome to the book club Zahara Ask What is Love. This is your host and your friend Karundi Tani, and this is our last session. And before we start, I would like to say the thing about our Facebook group and our YouTube channel that is called 3P in Africa. Jim, Harry, and I, we all have created this wonderful group in Facebook, and we would love for you to join us. That's called 3P in Africa. We also have our YouTube channel, and Harry has also made a documentary that is also called 3P in Africa documentary. So please do see that in our YouTube channel and subscribe that. And without any further ado, let's start our last session with Harry and Jim. Welcome, Harry. Welcome, Jim.
Thanks, Karen. I wanted to start with a book that's just been released. It's Sydney Banks' first book called Second Chance. And if you like audiobooks, this book will also take you deeper into the feelings. It would be a nice evolvement within that. And Sid absolutely loved this audiobook that was spoken by Hawaiian, and it was organized, Salivia, by Jim, actually. Jim and Sid were, whatever, I'm not going to get into the details, but Jim was instrumental in the creation of this incredible audiobook, which Sid absolutely loved. He raved about it to me, and so on. And in the book, there are three major characters. Richard, who is sick with terminal cancer, Jonathan, who is one of the wisest human beings on the face of the earth, and the enlightened Mama Lila. And Sid asked me from the book, which character was himself, who was Sydney Banks? And I said, well, of course, you're Mama Lila. And he said, no, I'm all three. And that is a big clue of who we are in the world that we are living at. And in Zahara Ask What is Love, who am I in the book? And of course, I'm Zahara and I'm Bibi. And in regards to that, the reason the book became as powerful as it is because I was alive with the questions that the African students were asking. And as that I became alive with the questions that nobody else was asking, I saw it as an opportunity to share my perspective through Zahara and Bibi about what they were talking about, what they wanted to know the answers to. And that really has led to the emergence. And then when Jim did the audiobook, it just seemed to add another dimension to the ability to share with the African people. Now, this is our last session, and we're going to be talking about this last chapter that was written, which turned out not to be the last chapter, because after I wrote the book, I wrote another chapter on teen pregnancy. It's interesting to see. I write the last chapter. I don't know it's the last chapter of the book. I'm just writing another chapter. And just as soon as I finished, I said, the book is finished. It's enough. It's enough for the people. Each chapter has its own individual teachings. And this is enough to go on. The book could have been written in 30 chapters, because of course, when you look at the psyche of the African mind, there's many different dimensions. And maybe I will write another chapter or two, who knows? But well, as soon as I came to the end, there was this feeling that came into me, finished. And I went, oh, great, I'm done. And then the rest is kind of history of what we went into. So I'm going to leave just that sort of preamble, and I'll let Jim sort of introduce the chapter or whatever he wishes to talk about. He's certainly, and Jim, thank you for sharing with me this incredible journey that we've been so lucky. In many ways, Zahara has cemented Jim and I's relationship or perhaps set a foundation where we could learn to express ourselves. And I want to emphasize that the team in Africa, which by the way, Mark Williams is now joined and is working in Kenya, which is really a beautiful experience for both of us. It's not about a leader. It's about the team and leaving the players to go independently in the direction that their heart tells them to go in. And that has been the strength of the team. We've all been governed by, one, we want to help people alleviate suffering. Two, we've been so captured by the love of the Ugandans and the Kenyans that we and other Africans that it has inspired our hearts. And three, we feel like it's a spiritual direction. God has directed us to come here. We are doing our best to share, and the rewards are in our heart, in our growth, in our wonderful, wonderful relationships with these beautiful, beautiful, wise people. Not wise where I'm the teacher and they're the student. This type of wise, like that. So Jim, with that in mind, could you say a few words, and then we'll sooner or later. And by the way, Wendy, nice to see you as well. It's nice to see a non-African here as well. Yeah.
Thanks, Harry. And thanks for the opportunity that Roz and I have been able to share via this webinar, this book club series. Thanks for writing the book. I find it an outstanding book. It's a great vehicle for sharing the three principles. It seems very well tuned into Africa because of the fact that you've taken your questions from African, questioners. And I would like to point out there's something some of the Africans can address this, but what I picked up is that when we're talking about love, particularly in this book being written for primarily teens, although it applies to everyone, we're setting new boundaries. We're breaking boundaries, and that is in actually addressing the topic of love with somebody that's under 18 years old. It appears that has been a taboo up until now. So I'm really pleased that they're opening up to this, that they're accepting this, and that they're realizing that this incredible change is, it's welcomed there. I love the way the book has, the way the book flows. I love the premise of the book. It's similar to the way Sid wrote. You have somebody learning, and you have somebody responding to their questions, and guiding them into deeper levels of consciousness. So, incredible. I'd say now, let's get into hearing. I believe we're going to hear a little bit of chapter 10 near the end, and then we're going to flow into chapter 11. Beautifully spiritual wrap up of the book. Let's just listen.
Okay. Just before we do that, I just want to say that Second Chance is on our YouTube channel, 3P in Africa YouTube channel, and you just click on it, and the description will take you right into the audiobook there. And also on our YouTube channel is each of the sessions edited by Jim, the first couple by myself, and you can then listen to these classes on our YouTube channel as well. The YouTube 3P in Africa channel is educational. It's always there not to promote 3P in Africa. It's there to promote the level of consciousness growing in all human beings. And so I'm going to just give me a second to get this technical stuff down. I'll share the screen.
He and the community had all the materials, much of which were free bricks made from our clay. The only thing missing was the metal roof. He needed $150 for the roof, or the building could not be completed. He put his faith in God. He shared his need with a wise elder in our community who told him that he will think about it. Did God tell the elder to do this? Then the elder shared the same story with an associate from the United States, and she decided to donate the money. Was it God that gave the money or the female associate? If she decided not to donate the money, was it God that decided not to give the money? She said it was God that made her give the money. This is nonsense, in my opinion. Her feeling of love and compassion came from God, but her choice came from her. Her heart was positively touched by the love and needs of the Worthy Project. However, it was her choice, and whatever she decided to do was 100% up to her. In a way, her will and God's will became one, but it was her decision. When you understand that all decisions come from you, you will understand your connection to God. Love points the way. It is your choice whether you open your mind and heart to the love that is being offered. When she shared this money, she shared soul to soul with the Sangano man, and both recognized this. Don't give God all the credit or power. Many believe that God will take care of them, and then 10 minutes later they hate what is happening to them. We are responsible for our own actions, feelings, and thoughts. Accept this, Zahara, and then you will enjoy the life that you are creating. When Sydney Banks said, "You must find it for yourself," he knew what he was talking about. You see, Zahara, it is all about personal power. You must feel your own personal power to be free. It is the path of the warrior to leave your fear and uncover the truth, to access your own wisdom and release your destiny. No one can tell you your destiny, but you will recognize it. Just learn to trust your feelings and keep walking into the unknown. What lies ahead for you is beyond your wildest dreams. It is a life of honor, and you will love it. You will love how you are leaving behind your image of yourself and walking into a world of inner comfort. As you become comfortable with the unknown, the known or material world shows you what you need to know to keep growing and keep loving. I call this the world of no thinking. We simply are following our instincts, becoming one with the intuitive mind that guides all those that ask for help. God's way is not through a virtual reality or a story. It is a fact, and we are that living fact. The way of the warrior is one of stop pretending and accept your unlimited potential. What a story you are going to create, Zahara. I can hardly wait to see it. As I've always taught you, dream big and allow your thoughts to soar like the eagles, turning your dreams into reality. Zahara sees the gift of love. Part 11. Zahara's life was flourishing. She could not fully understand what was happening to her, but it was magical how her life seemed to flow with positive feelings wherever she walked. When she shared this feeling with her boyfriend, she could see that sometimes he was feeling insecure. She sought to calm his mind down, knowing that this was simply a temporary negative moment in their relationship. She began to trust her instincts, and they seemed to always guide her in the right direction in the relationship. When he was in a good mood, she playfully loved their time together. Zahara asked Bibi, I can see that sometimes my boyfriend is loving, and other times he seems to be lost in his own thoughts or his own point of view. Why is that, Bibi? Bibi was in a serene, thoughtful mood and wanted to answer the question more in keeping with the mood that she was feeling rather than just give Zahara advice. If we do not understand that we are both human and spiritual, we are denying the truth. The truth is that we are perfectly designed, but complain a lot about this because we do not understand our relationship with God. No animal in the universe has the special power that we were given, free will to think. We have free will to change our destiny, our reality, and our dreams. We can always change our sorrows into happiness and contentment. The power to change is the greatest gift in the world. It is perfection in motion, but our little minds are not at peace with it. Our personal thoughts think they are always right, and yet we worship a higher source. Can you see the conflict all humans have, Zahara? Our job is to find unity in our relationship to God. Yet on a human level, our job is to uncover the power within. We are God-informed and have the consciousness to know this. We have the free will to create our world via thought. We are the source of all life when our personal minds connect to universal mind. All of this is accessed through positive feelings, and the purpose of negative feelings is to tell us as human beings that we are thinking in the wrong direction. We are spiritual beings, pretending we are only animals who must overeat, oversex, overcomplain, and overdesire. Our job is to find the balance within. Each person is unique to the universe. We must use our own wisdom, instincts, and positive feelings to uncover this balance within. You will know it, Zahara, when you arrive at this understanding, because it is obvious. But we temporarily forget because life is not an intellectual exercise. It is not a memory. Life must be experienced in the now. The Spirit spoke to me one day and told me, "You do your best, and we will take care of the rest." Those words of common sense changed my way of living life. Bibi gave Zahara a big hug, thanking her for opening her mind and heart. She said, "Your questions have changed my life, Zahara, because it allowed your wisdom and love to enter my heart and challenge my mind. Without you, I would not have been aware of the power of a young, evolved mind, and this connection has made me feel blessed." I love the words of this book, The Missing Link, by Sydney Banks. Let your negative thoughts go. They're nothing more than passing thoughts. You are then on your way to finding the peace of mind you seek, having healthier feelings for yourself and for others. This is simple logic. Zahara began to cry tears of joy. Somehow, her world had changed by sharing with her grandmother. She had innocently entered a new world, a world of unlimited joy, potential, and positive experiences. Perhaps this is the love that she was so curious about. It certainly felt like it. And then she realized that indeed, this is the spiritual love of the universe that we all have within us. She wiped away the tears and thoughtfully said, "Thank you, Bibi." Bibi smiled and tenderly responded, "Oh no, Zahara. Thank you, sweetie. I love you."
Words of Wisdom on Love by Harry and Jim's teacher, Sydney Banks. Love is always the answer. Love is a mind that isn't contaminated. It sees beyond the physical to the spiritual part of every human being. That is what true love is. True love is understanding. Thank you very, very much from Harry and Jim. Am I back? Yeah. What struck me listening to it this time, the book isn't words, it's a feeling. It's always been a feeling, guys. Stop worshiping the words and the intellect. You can't put on paper the feeling, yet it can have the feeling in it.
Harry, can I ask you a question?
Please do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So-
our format, Karen, after the talk.
Cool. Okay, let me mute everybody else. Cool. So I heard that Jim said in the last chapter, the spirit spoke to me that you do your best and we'll take care of the rest. So when the spirit said you do your best, what does it mean by best? Is it like taking action and trying to fix things from a negative thinking? Or is
No,
it just like being
it's
more
not that.
present to the moment?
It's not, it's, you know, like you have a consciousness and you know whether how pure your thoughts are. You know whether you are being 100% honest with yourself. And what it means when the spirit spoke to me like that was it meant I didn't have to be more than myself. I didn't have to save the whole world. I didn't have to uh, uh, have answers for every question. I just had to be myself. But if I did my best, then it tapped into the unlimited power of the spirit. The spirit does, let's say, 90%, and we do 10%. But if my 10% is pure, then things work out. But not always the way, Karen, the white man or the mental giants of today think. Not that way. It works out spiritually. And so I had a question when the spirits were talking. Now I'm in an indigenous mood, Karen. I'm not in a white man mood. I'm having a spiritual relationship with the spirit. And I had a question. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to help, but why aren't I helping more indigenous people? And this is what they said. And immediately everything changed because I just felt, okay, I can do my best. I don't have to do any more than that. And it freed me to just be Harry. Maybe not the Harry everybody thinks they want to see, but the Harry that I felt inside myself. So I always know whether I'm doing my best or not. And it's my golden rule. If I do my best and it doesn't work out, I've done my best, no problem. And if it does work out, which 90% of the time it does, again, beautiful. Because you see, The power of the individual is the connection to the conglomerate, to the universal. That's our power. The reason 3P in Africa has exploded is because Harry's doing his best, and all these magical things are happening that have no relationship to Harry doing his best, but they're spreading out in an organic way. It's like life prepared me to come here, to love the African people, and to love myself. And Sylvia's she taught me about self-love. I never talked a lot about self-love, but self-love is what it's about. You do your best. Karen, that's all that's ever asked of you. And when you do your best, good luck follows. The Spirit answers because the Spirit is always working with you 100% of the time. It's just, Mark said, we have to catch the flow. That's it. You catch the flow. When you're in a boat and the boat is going all over the place, you got to do your best to not fall in the water. Yet, it can be the most exciting roller coaster ride of your life. You can be thrilled, enthralled, and you see this beautiful thing, and you feel a power of the universe. And when it's finished, you go, wow, that was great. I'm glad I was along for the ride. See, if you're not along for the ride, all you can see is complaints. Oh, it was too rocky. It was too windy. It was too this. Or is it, wow, this is exciting. This is a privilege, an honor.
Beautiful, beautiful. So as much as I can understand, giving our best is like going with what's available at the moment, right? Going with what you have at the moment, right? Like if you've got a boat all over the place, you do your best to just save yourself, right?
That's it. And
But
make sure you bring
sometimes,
yourself along. God isn't just God, includes you.
but sometimes in life situations, it's not like that urgent, like you're gonna sink, okay, or your boat is gonna sink. It's like some bad things are happening in your life, and if you take action from your personal little mind with that negative thinking, you make things worse, okay, like arguing with your partner, okay, and shouting at people. But what if instead of giving my best with what I have in my mind, I just align with God? I stay more calm and more present and allow God to guide me.
Beautiful. You're doing your best.
So that's my best. Okay, cool.
That's
Cool.
your
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Good. All right. I have another question, and this is for Jim. Jim, I heard that people just trust their thinking, their personal thinking, their little mind, and still they worship the bigger mind. So I do believe that that's what happens. We believe in God, we believe that God is there and God will take care of us, but still we just buy into our personal thinking. So could you elaborate more on that, like how it happens and what is the right way to have more connection or be more in alignment with our bigger mind or God?
Well, Karen, we answer these questions for ourselves. The answer will be there for you. You open up, you'll find that answer. What I'd like to address at this point, I suspect it's relevant to the question as well. If not, we can return. But this beautiful book that we've been listening to for the last 5.5 sessions is a beautiful metaphor. There's a beautiful metaphor in the book, and it speaks to what's going on in the room now and in all of the sessions. the sharing between Zahara and Bibi, and wrapping up with gratitude for the opportunity that they've had over the course of these 11 chapters to talk about truth, to share their highest truth together, to apply it to both of their lives. And in the last chapter, we're taught about gratitude, gratitude in the moment, overt gratitude. Bibi, thank you so much. I love you. Zahara, no, Zahara, I thank you. You've taught me so much with your questions, and your youthful mind and your inquiring mind that has guided me. And the final phrase, I love you. We're doing it too. We're all Zahara. We're all Bibi. We're discussing the same things. We're guided by the book, but we can do it without the book. We're doing it here in the room, sharing truth, sharing levels of consciousness, sharing the essence of mind, consciousness, and thought, learning about the power of thought, learning about the feelings, learning about a purpose of negative feelings, which is just to let ourselves know that we've fallen, into an egotistical trail. And as soon as we become aware of that, if we are sensitive to our feeling, we will feel that we're on the wrong path, and we will drop those thoughts. We know it. We know that's what we do. We've been discussing that over and over, and the lessons aren't going to change. They're always going to be the same lessons. The answers are always going to be the same answers. What's going to change is our depth of understanding of these questions and these answers. And it comes down to that beautiful feeling of, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you, Zahara. I love you, Bibi. I love you, Harry. I love you, Mark. I love you, Sylvia. I love you, Rose. I love you, Kern. I love you, Leon Saraji.
Wendy.
I love you, Wendy. I love you, Action for Peace. I love you, Gerwin. And I love you, Arsini. Yeah, I love you. John Peter, I love you. I love you.
I love you too.
It's amazing. And look at what's happening in the world. Here we are, just this tiny group of people, changing the world, injecting love into the world. We're the metaphor. We are all in this room the metaphor. Everyone that dials into this is a metaphor. Everyone that discusses the three principles is living that metaphor of growing in level of consciousness, of going home. Sid used to describe that feeling as I'm home. That wonderful feeling of home. Almost heaven, West Virginia. Country road, take me home. We're all going home.
Because we are already home.
That's right, Harry.
That's the message. We're already there, guys. Except for ... They're already there. And all that happens when Jim is talking about going deeper into levels of consciousness, is you just become aware of that a little bit more.
And also what's amazing, you know, it's so gratifying, Harry, so astounding, so ordinary, is that the Africans in the room know what we're talking about. And as they share their experiences, they guide us home. You folks are guiding us home right now. You folks are really the cutting edge for the planet. What you're doing in the midst of the material chaos, in finding your own inner voice, in finding your own understanding of love, in finding your own ticket to happiness, it floors me. I'm astonished. I talk about what it's like, and you people live it beyond my talk. Because it's always a fluid thing. It's always in motion. It's always moment to moment. That's what being in the now is all about. So gratitude, one of the cornerstones, forgiveness, the feelings we're looking for, forgiveness and gratitude.
Those are the cornerstones for organic growth. Just will happen if you put the gratitude and forgiveness as a reality.
So I'd like to hear from some of you guys. This is our wind up. This is your opportunity to tell the world. Just raise your hand or unmute yourself and speak to the moment.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Jim. And everyone listening. So as Jim was reading that story, there is where he was talking about faith. Yeah, and as he was talking about faith, you have to have faith in God as you're hoping for something from him. I related it to the 3 P's, and I related it to happiness. How when you have the faith, knowing that God is going to do something for you, you trust his promises because he never fails. For him, he does his things at his best time. He doesn't do them the way we want him to do them. He doesn't do them according to our understanding. He always does according to his way, and he gives us the best. So when you have your faith in the Lord, it gives you that peace of happiness in your mind. You'll never panic for anything. You'll never worry. You'll always be glad, hoping that someday God is going to answer your prayers or God is going to do something for you. So it gives you that joy and the happiness in your heart as you're putting your faith in the Lord and as you're waiting patiently unto him. So when Jim was talking about faith, I was relating that you just get the divine happiness, only remembering that God is going to do this thing at his own time. He is going to do it. You'll not have that gap of being unhappy, that gap of being worried, that gap of panicking or something of that kind, negative mind. It will not come into your head. You will only be happy with a positive mind, believing that one day, one time, God is going to do it. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe in the future. But I'm happy, I'm glad, I'm okay with a positive mind that one day he will do it. So as Jim was sharing, yeah, it was running into my head. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you for listening.
Go ahead, Chris Scott.
You need to unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes, good evening and good morning, everyone. Yeah, about the 3P, everything we got from there is about the faith. And let me give a simple example about the faith. When I fled from my country in Congo and seek for the protection in Uganda, I did not know if you're going to have some people precious and loved like the people I'm living with them now, or are going to have the kinds of life, or are going to be in ease as well. But first of all, I do have faith that wherever I'll move up and I leave my family, my beloved one, are going to have a great family and great friends, great colleagues. So, and now is what I'm living now. Now we do have faith, and that faith help us to create a hope for many people around us, many people, many children who are still growing in the life of refugees. Now we do create hope in them that it's possible they're going to achieve, even if they have that status of being refugees, but they're going to achieve and they're going to make difference. And even their dreams will become true because we do have the faith before. And for that faith, we do expand it in those new generation. So about the book of Sahara and everything that we're talking and the 3P, I do get more advantage. And now I can even try to make to make a story about the faith and everything I got from the book. So just I do invite everyone and to all our surrounding to come up and join us and create a hope future for everyone. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Chris is has an orphanage up in Naka Valley. Iraji, who I think he's here. I'm not sure. Yeah, he is here. He went up on his bicycle and taught to the orphanage, and bit by bit, the love penetrates their heart. I'm going to ask Phillips for you, although Phillips, you did not listen to the Zahara story and so on. I want to introduce Phillips because he is the training manager of Naka Valley 3 Principals Alcohol Department, and he is sharing with other counselors who only speak Swahili. Phillips also, just for a quick second, since it's our last session, Phillips, just a short little talk about what you've seen with the alcohol and what you see.
Yeah, thank you so much, Harry. Greetings, everyone. I'm Taiwa Phillips, CEO and founder Healing Health, Healing Hearts. It's also based here in Nakiva Refugee Settlement. And I'm also manager Nakiva, the 3P Alcohol Department. I'm very happy also to share today. So what I will share mostly about this love, I will share that like Nakiva, the 3P department, we started with one client. And in my own view, I can see that one client that we started with who is called Murindangabo Rugaragara, just uncovered his wisdom. And that was all love. After loving himself, he understood that wisdom lies within him and introduced some other friends that was also sharing love, because if he could not embrace love, he could not invite others. So invited the friends. The second was called Nehemiah Vijaromami. Also, he entered into the department and he was changing positively. So this was a full of sharing where I could meet with Harry. We meet online like the way we are sharing here, but Harry speaks English as they don't understand English. I have to translate to them into Kiswahili. But it has been so nice that the information has been transferred to them. They had to understand what sleepy is, and now they are sharing into the community. And what we are sharing all over is love, and they have understood that it all starts with themselves, because they had to first understand what they were passing through, and they understood that they have to change the thought. They understood that the wrong use of thought was leading them astray, was leading them in a negativity. So they had to change. All this was because they had to understand what love is, because they had to love themselves first. Then after, they understood now where they should be basing. So right now, they are sharing into the community, and they have graduated into counselors. People started like clients as we are training them. Now they are counselors, and we are sharing into the community, and we are sharing love. We are sharing about forgiveness. We are sharing about the wrong use of thought and the right use of thought. How someone should understand that love starts with himself. Change is himself or herself, not any other, like basing on any outside circumstance. To think like the past experience can help them than living into now or the present. So I'm very happy that three principles are helping us so much, majorly in Aki Valley and beyond. And I'm happy that we are still sharing, and it is helping, and we are alleviating suffering into this. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Philip. I want people to understand that Zahara asked, "What is love?" So love is the answer, but we are not. We are not talking about addiction is the answer, getting information about addiction. We're talking about where the healing is. We're talking about that the answer to alcohol is the same answer as domestic violence, is the same answer as teen pregnancy, is the same answer to anger, is the same answer to sadness and depression. It is quite interesting as a 3P practitioner, a 3P educator, which is what I am, that you don't have to know about the subject, but it helps to know a little bit about the subject, but you don't have to know about it, because you're always looking for first cause. What is the cause of the uncomfortableness that a person is experiencing? And they always have the same question. They want to know, how can I control my thinking? And then you come in and say, you can't. You can't control your thinking. What you can do is you can understand the role of thought or the nature of thought. And when you understand the tool, you will understand how to use the tool. And it's really quite simple. I use the example of a hammer, and someone comes in and never used a hammer before, and they start hitting the hammer on the handle side on the nail, and they say, this isn't very good. I thought the hammer was supposed to be really good. And I come around and say, turn the handle around and hit it with the other end. And they go, oh, this is really good. And once people find, when Miranda found his access to his wisdom, he didn't need Harry's advice. He didn't need Harry's teachings. He used his own inner resources. Zahara is coming alive because Bibi is not telling her to worship Bibi. She's not telling Bibi, she's not telling Zahara, write down all these points. That's Africans like to memorize. Bad for 3P. It's an experience within yourself where you access your own wisdom. And when that wisdom is accessed, Miranda stopped drinking. Just like that. And guess what? He started to share this beautiful feeling. And Nehemiah says, I want some of that too. He stopped drinking. And then Andrew came and he stopped drinking. But here's the beautiful part. That's not the end of the story. That's the beginning of the story. Now there are counselors going around all over Naka Valley helping other people. And yeah, some of them, it's not just like that. Some of it, it's step by step, but it's teaching them. And what are we teaching? The same thing Zahara is teaching. Love is the answer. And what Sylvia taught me, which I really love, is self-love is the answer. So instead of just saying love of God, you have self-love as well. Love of God, self-love, connected together by the role of thought. The right use of thought, as Phillips was saying, or the wrong use of thought. That didn't come from me. That comes from my teacher, Sydney Banks. It's just that it's common sense. You use thought in the wrong way, you're going to have a tough life, guys. Use thought in the right way, and nobody can tell you what that is. But please don't read it in a book and memorize it. Know it to be true from what you experience within yourself. My greatest weakness has been that I worship Sydney Banks. The most frustrating thing he had with me was that I was worshiping Sydney Banks. He had to die before I got free of that worship. When he died, I said, I wonder what I know. That's the question I'm asking all of you. You already have the answer inside you. You know? You know? And here's the beautiful thing. It's everything that the Bible and the church is talking about, except it's including you too. And you answer the question, if I believe in God, why am I sad? 3 principles. That's the question we all ask ourselves. So, thanks, Phillips, for sharing that. It's neat to share the alcohol department in this type of setting where we're dealing with a lot of youth programs and so on, type of thing. Mohindo, you're there. Mohindo teaches youth program, and they were the first youth program that really took off. Can you say a few words about what you've seen? If you're there.
Thank you so much, Harry, for just giving me a word. Yeah, I think that this 3 principle, this book of Zahara, Ask What is Love, have changed our lives and the youth that I'm teaching, and we are trying to like going far away with these teachings because I sometimes I even get some feedbacks from their parents about this from these teenagers because back in days they were asking me window, what is love, what is love? Yeah, I know that when they the youth, they are like in adolescent stage, most of them they focus on love and such things, then they really wanted to know what is love. And for now, they have know what is love, and they are trying to share with other friends, because this question came from us, and Sarah is our youth. He has NTG, and I think that this book is very important, because now when I'm just sitting with them and having some share of them, they are like trying to motivate their themselves, trying to say that we really need to share these good feelings. We need to share these good feelings of love, because they like believe that love can conquer everything. Yeah, because with love, I think that's uh, we can conquer everything. Yeah, and we just appreciate the uh, the staff of Sri Principal and Heavy for writing this book, and for people for putting that's question, and try to get much words, much thing to write about love. And now we are going to school and sharing with students at school, and they are enjoying the books. And I think that in the days to come, we are going to be like all the Naki Valley will know about love, and they will love themselves. They will never struggle for love, but they will love themselves, and try to uh try to tell other people about love. Because here in Africa, here in Naki Valley, you find that most of people, they go to church, but they don't believe in love. They go and pray God. They say, God help us, forgive us our sin, but they don't believe in love. But we are just trying to show people that love, when you love, yourself, when you share that feeling of love, you just love. God is there. God is there, because when you love your friend, when you love your neighbor, and when you love yourself, God is there with you. And without forgetting that where is love, there is happiness. Yeah, is what we are trying to show the community. And we hope in the future, all the Naki Valley will know about love.
Oh, thanks, Mohindo. Just for your information, Wendy, Bella from Mohindo's group, who was 13 years old, asked me the question, what is love? And it shocked me that a 13-year-old would ask this question. And when I answered it, I didn't like my answer. It wasn't good enough, but that's all I had at that point. But it made me think. And also Mohindo came up with the phrase that has been a theme that has resonated with many, many Africans. Happiness is free. So Mohindo, that comes from Mohindo as well, type of thing. Mark is working with me in Kenya. We're working with the Kakuma refugee camp, a women's group, and we started another group as well. And so Mark is quite new to the exposure to Africa and to what it is. But I felt a kindred spirit with Mark and I felt it would be good to have help, which, by the way, I do need. And could you tell quickly, Mark, a little bit of what you've observed with sharing love and understanding through the three principles in Kenya?
Sure, Harry. Hi. I feel tremendously honored to be part of this. It's not about any one of us, and I feel like a tiny part of it, and yet so lucky to have found the wisdom that we have found, are finding, all of us, everyone here. We're incredibly lucky to have been led to this, and to share it with people, and just see it coming awake in Kenya, in Kakuma. And however it's happening, just that little bit where people see that there's something new here. They can see that we are connected. We are living in different levels of consciousness. Our consciousness is, we allow our consciousness to lead us a little bit and take the focus off ourselves as being so the center of the universe, and more thinking of all of us. What can I say, Harry? I'm wandering there, but
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 let's just say Mark and I have grown together in our because of the sharing, and we are investigating how to unravel it, but we're seeing the organic growth there as well, in its own pace, in its own way. You do not dictate the pace. You follow the flow. Those are Mark's words, by the way. You follow the flow.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful words. And Mark came up with this incredible, simple statement. God gives us the ability to think. Isn't that beautiful? That's from Mark, not me. God gives us the ability to think. That's the gift. And what we do with the thought, that's on us.
yeah,
That's what the chapter before was about.
it's like Jacob's ladder. We're going up in consciousness, away from ourselves as being all important, and more just relaxing and stop taking it all so seriously, even though we have big challenges. Growing in a feeling toward our true self, going inside to our true self, which is pure spiritual energy that's given us this whole experience of life. And, just, yeah.
Beautiful. What a one. We're all connected together. My
And
best friend, Karen, when I was young and living in Winnipeg, there was one family that was Black, and he was my best friend. We were the two best athletes in the school. And we gravitated to each other, and I went to his house every day. I never understood why his father was so pleased that this little Jewish boy would come over every day and play with his son. Because for me, it was just fun. We were great together. I didn't see any color. I didn't see any difference between him and I. All I saw was his dad's gratitude and how much fun this guy was. And we would race together. And no matter what, I could always beat him by that much. Then I found out when you put the boxing gloves on, that wasn't as much fun because pow, 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 pow. And I said, well, I'll stick to running. But the fun we had, I never saw color again because it was just human beings, the love of human beings together. What a gift. So that nobody has worked with more diversity in this world. Perhaps there is one or two than I have. And the reason is I just don't see any difference. I'm not interested in all of that nonsense that the world is worshiping. The only culture is we are one. That's the culture of the world. It's a global message. We have to live together. But Africa, as Jim was talking about, has called out. It's called out. We want to be happy. We're tired of being unhappy. Our faith in God says we can be happy too. And that's why we're here. To teach you the simple message that, yeah, you can be happy too. When you understand the three principles, you understand we're all in the same boat. We're all in this boat trying to go around the rapids and all this type of stuff. And all we have seen is the more love you experience in your heart, the more love you have for God, and the more you understand the role of thought, life is easy.
Beautiful.